In 2025, we posted 12 videos in our Disc is in the Details series. And throughout those videos, we got hands-on experience in the studio and on the course with some amazing discs. But which ones really stood out? Let's find out, because the disc is in the details. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and over the next few weeks, we are counting down our top 6 discs, comparisons, and moments from all of our different series. But if you haven't seen these videos yet, this is your warning because there are spoilers galore coming up. So check the links in the video description to watch the full comparisons, analysis, and more from each of these videos. And we begin with a disc that one of our viewers sent us, the Innova Scorpion. The Scorpion is 35 years old, and disc design has changed considerably over the last 3.5 decades. The Scorpion's profile looks like a driver, while the weight matches modern wide-diameter mid-ranges. But the Scorpion is even bigger than popular mid-ranges like the Buzz or Rock 3, nearly a full centimeter wider than a Buzz. Surprisingly though, it seems to perfectly combine the flight of a mid-range and a driver. Flying faster than most mid-ranges, but about the same distance, it has a nice mix of turn with some reliable late fade, making its flight numbers of 5.5, -1.2 feel pretty much spot on. It makes sense though that it's quite different, because 35 years is a long time. And other things have changed a lot over the last 35 years. Just look at pickup trucks. Either way, the Scorpion left an impression that we're still thinking about today. From one old school mid-range to a modern classic, we have the Dynamic Discs Truth. Team Dynamic Discs Parker Welks stayed with us for our local A tier, the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open, where he came within one stroke of forcing a playoff for the win. In his downtime before the tournament, he hooked us up with his Tour Series Truth, and we put it through its paces at 6 different skill levels. This was one of a half dozen videos we did this year featuring players of different skill levels, a format that we've heard you all really enjoy, so look forward to more of those in the future. For the Truth, things shaped up quite nicely. We began with my son Eli, who found it slightly overstable, which makes sense since it's max weight. My wife Emily had a similar experience, as did our friend Josh. And as we ramped up in arm speed on the Truth, we saw it start to straighten out considerably. And once we put it back in Parker's hands, we saw the real difference between us mere mortals and what a true professional can do. Because no matter the shot, no matter the angle, Parker could put this Truth anywhere he wanted it. Moving on to number 4, it's one of the best-selling discs of the year, the DGA Blast. What do you get when you combine the overstable, super versatile Discraft Zone with the ergonomic feel of the Castoplast Berg? Well, you get DGA's new approach disc, the Blast. It has the classic zone profile that Discraft fans know and love, but it adds a subtle ergonomic dip to the flight plate, and it feels incredible. This low-glide, more overstable version of the zone was an instant hit, selling out multiple times at Discraft and DGA, so much so that we never managed to get it in stock in the first place. Imagine a Zone OS that goes as far as a Zone. That is in essence what the Blast delivers, but with a hand feel that's even more comfortable than either. It's hard to design a disc that's based on a popular mold, and it's even harder to make one that is arguably better than the original. The DGA Blast, everything the Zone GT wishes it was. Next up at number 3 is a video that was literally months in the making. After meeting the ladies from Northeast Women's Disc Golf at the Disc East Expo in Massachusetts back in January, we finally collaborated on this multi-level test of the Clash Discs Soda. Rated at 7.5 -2.2, the Clash Discs Soda is a fairway driver for the people. With a stability that can work for just about anyone, it was the perfect disc to put in the hands of 6 women from 5 different divisions and really put it through its paces. Laura, who plays an FA4, found it to be reliably overstable, while Kyle from FA2 gets a brief flip to flat before the fade kicks in. FA50's Trisha got a similar flight, a nice brief turn before fighting back. Our FA60 competitor Robin gets the most turns so far, pushing the Soda quite a bit straighter. Another FA2 thrower took us to level 4, where Gina let a rip and got a big turn from the soda, just barely getting this little late fade. But compare that to Toby from Team Clash, who crushes the soda on a slight hyzer and gets a big smooth turn with a tiny forward fade. We've had a ton of fun making these multi-level comparisons this year, and would love to know what else you'd like to see in this format, so let us know in the comments below. In the number 2 slot, we have the one and only Innova Mamba. One of the most popular understable distance drivers in the sport, we put the Mamba through its paces at 4 different skill levels in early November, and saw some interesting results. But this time, just to make things even more interesting, we combined the disc is in the details with the plastic is in the details by testing not 1, but 4 Mambas. And what we ended up with was a really interesting spread of results. For my 10-year-old son Eli, all 4 Mambas were reliably overstable, with the Protoglow Champion just a smidge more than the rest. While my wife Emily had a little bit more variety. The Protoglow Champion was again the beefiest, but she saw less overstability from the G-Star Mamba. Which is weird because for me, the G-Star Mamba was the most overstable, hardly turning at all, while the Protoglow Champion was the most understable on my backhand. And Josh had similar results to myself. He got a huge roller from the Protoglow Champion, while the other 3 just gave him a little cut roller. And all of that means something. I guess it means that making generalizations about how specific plastics and discs will fly for people is probably not a great idea. As always, the best way to learn a disc and get a feel for how it's going to fly is to throw it for yourself. And that takes us to number 1, which on paper was probably one of the most unnecessary disc releases of the year. The Discraft Malita. Imagine you're a disc manufacturer and you make the best-selling disc of all time. This disc, the Discraft Buzz. Why on earth would you then introduce a straight mid-range with nearly identical flight numbers to your lineup alongside it? It shouldn't work, but somehow the Malita does. In a video all about innovation and design, we took a close look at the Mint Discs Idol, ThoughtSpace Requiem, and the Malita. And while the Idol and Requiem were interesting, the Malita stood out for one specific reason. And that is when you put it up against the Buzz, the best-selling disc in the history of disc golf, the Malita was somehow better. On nearly every throw, it flew a similar flight path to the Buzz, but somehow went farther. Every single time. It's also smaller than the Buzz, which makes it more comfortable for more players, especially those who don't like a really wide diameter mid-range. And just when you think a disc can't get any better, it does, which is why the Malita stood out as one of the most interesting discs that we tested all year. Our Disc is in the Details series is all about digging deeper and exploring discs in new and unique ways, which is why the videos in this series are so different from one to the next, but it's also what makes it one of the most fun series to make. What do you all think of the Disc is in the Details, and what would you like to see from it in 2026? Let us know in the comments below. For 6-Sided Discs, I'm Greg. Thanks for a fantastic 2025. We'll see you in 2026. If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or becoming a member. Your support makes this content possible.
Yeah.